Most people choose the wrong investment account when they start investing. The result? Unexpected taxes, surprise penalties, and thousands of dollars in missed opportunities. But here's the good news. Today, I will show you exactly how to pick the perfect account for your goals. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is video 2 of my complete 6-part guide for beginners. Throughout this series, you will learn everything you need to start investing with confidence. We will cover it all, from knowing when you're ready to choosing the right investments to building your first portfolio. And if you haven't watched video 1 yet, make sure to check it out after this one. I will leave it linked in the description below. Let's talk about investment accounts. But first, I want you to imagine that you are organizing your kitchen. Think about all the containers you have. Some are airtight for long-term storage. Others are perfect for reheating leftovers in the microwave, and others are great for taking lunch to work. Each container has its own special purpose, right? Well, here's something cool about investment accounts. They work exactly the same way. They're just containers for your money, each designed for specific purposes with its own special features. Remember those financial goals you wrote down in our last video? Those are about to help you pick the perfect containers for your money. Now, if you work for a company, there is a good chance that they have already picked out your first investment container, and it's called a 401k. And let me tell you, this isn't just any container. It's like getting a premium storage system with a built-in money multiplier. Here's what I mean. Many companies will match what you put into your 401k. Think about that. Every time you put in $100, your company adds another $100, and that's literally free money. And trust me on this, passing up on your company match is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. Let me put this in real numbers for you. Say that you're making $50,000 a year and your company offers to match 100% of what you contribute up to 3% of your salary. That means that if you put in $125 per month, which adds up to $1,500 per year, your company will add another $1,500. And just like that, you have doubled your money before any investing even happened. But here's something that most people miss about 401ks. They're not just about the match. They come with some other pretty sweet perks. So first, the money comes out of your paycheck before taxes. That means less taxes are due right now. Second, your money grows tax-free until retirement. And third, it's completely automatic. You're gonna set it up once and then you're done. Now, there is a catch. This is definitely a long-term storage container. If you try to take the money out early, you will face a 10% penalty plus taxes. That's why a 401k, it's perfect for retirement, but it's not so great for that house down payment that you want in 5 years. But what if your employer doesn't offer a 401k? Or what if you want to save even more for retirement? That's where our next container comes in, the IRA or individual retirement account. Think of it as a do-it-yourself version of a 401k. You choose where you're gonna open it, you choose what goes inside, and you don't need an employer to start one. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There are 2 types of IRAs, and choosing between them, it's like deciding whether to pay for dinner now or later. And let me explain our dinner analogy. With a traditional IRA, you're getting dinner at a discount now, but you're gonna pay the full bill in retirement. You're gonna get a tax break today. Your money's gonna grow tax-free, but in retirement, you're gonna pay taxes on everything that you take out. Now, with a Roth IRA, it's the complete opposite. You're gonna pay your full tax bill right now, and here's where the magic happens. Everything that you withdraw in your retirement, that is completely tax-free. And all that growth, yes, it's also tax-free. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, but which one should I choose? Well, it actually comes down to one simple question. Will you be in a higher tax bracket now or in retirement? Let me share what I did. When I was in my early 20s, I went with a Roth IRA because I knew that my income and tax bracket will likely go up over time. Oh, and something really important, there are limits. As of 2024, you can only put in $7,000 per year if you're under 50. And with a Roth IRA, if you make too much money, you might not be able to contribute directly. Remember our kitchen containers? Think of IRAs as those premium containers with special temperature controls. They're perfect for long-term storage, but with strict rules about how much you can put in. But what if you want to save more than these limits or need access to your money before retirement? That's where our next container comes in, the regular brokerage account. And I have got to tell you, this is where things get really interesting. So a brokerage account is like the everyday container. It's not fancy, but it's totally flexible in how you use it. Think about it. While retirement accounts come with those rules that we just talked about, a brokerage account plays by your rules. Want to take money out next month? Go for it. You need money for the down payment? No problem. You want to invest $1 million? Nobody's stopping you. Now I can hear you thinking, if these accounts are so flexible, why not use them for everything? Well, here's the catch. You are trading tax benefits for that flexibility. Let me break it down for you. So you're going to invest the money you have already paid taxes on. You're going to pay taxes on dividends every year. And when you sell your investments for a profit, you're going to pay capital gains taxes on them. But here's exactly when a brokerage account makes perfect sense. So after you have maxed out your retirement accounts, when you're saving for something in the next 3 to 10 years, if you want complete freedom with your money, and when you're building passive income through dividends. Something I wish that someone had told me earlier is that you can and probably should have multiple accounts. So a 401k for that sweet employer match, a Roth IRA for tax-free retirement savings, and a brokerage account for your medium-term goals. But watch out for this common mistake. People often open an investment account and just let the money sit there. And remember, opening the account is just getting the container. In our next video, we will talk about exactly what to put inside it. But before we wrap up, let's explore some specialty accounts for your specific goals. But first, let me share with you something crucial for your short-term goals, since we're talking mostly about medium-term and long-term goals here. So for your short-term goals, it's good to have a high-yield savings account. So remember that emergency fund that we talked about in video 1. So a high yield savings account is perfect for that and any goals within now to the next 2 years. And while you won't get rich from the interest, which is currently around 4 to 5%, it's way better than the 0.01% that you might get in a regular savings account. Now let's dive into those specialty accounts. Think of this as custom designed containers for specific purposes. So first up, you have a 529 plan for education savings. So if you got a save for your kids' college on your goals list, pay attention. A 529 plan is like a Roth IRA, but specifically for education expenses. You put the money in that you have already paid taxes on, and as long as you use it for qualified education costs, all the growth is completely tax-free. And here's something that most people miss. You can actually open a 529 for yourself if you're planning to go back to school. All right, so next let's talk about HSAs, health savings accounts. And this might be the most underrated account type out there. If you have a high deductible health plan, a HSA is like a triple tax advantage superhero because number one, you get a tax break when you put the money in, the money grows tax-free, and you pay no taxes when you use the money for medical expenses. Not to mention that some people actually treat their HSA as a retirement account. So here's what they do. They pay medical expenses now out of pocket and they keep their receipts. Then later, years later, they submit those receipts and they withdraw the money tax-free. And this is completely legal and it's a strategy that I wish I had known sooner. And finally, for those saving for minors, maybe your kids or grandkids, consider a UGMA or UTMA account. And think of this as a regular brokerage account, but for minors. But just remember, the money legally becomes theirs at 18 or 21. It will depend on your state. So you want to be sure that's what you want. So let's make this real with some examples. Picture this 3 goals. You have a goal of buying a house in 4 years. You have the goal of saving for your kids' college, and you want to build a emergency fund. The strategy might look like this. You're going to keep that house down payment in a regular brokerage account. You're going to put your kids' savings on for college into a 529 plan, and you're going to protect your emergency fund in a high yield savings account. So don't forget that the key is matching your accounts with your specific goals and timeline, and do not feel pressured. You don't need to open everything at once. You can start with your top priorities and grow from there. All right, now that you understand which accounts you need, let's talk about actually opening them. And I know it can feel overwhelming with so many options, but I'm gonna break it down into simple steps. So when choosing where to open your accounts, you have got 3 main options. So your first option is traditional brokers like Fidelity or Vanguard. Your second option is online platforms like Robinhood or Webull. And your third option is robo-advisors like Betterment or Wealthfront. And here's what to look for when choosing one. You want to open an account that requires 0 or low minimum deposits, no monthly fees, a strong customer service, a user-friendly interface, a solid education services, and wide investment selection. And what's my advice for beginners? I think that you should consider a large traditional broker because they offer all accounts type that we have covered. They have customer service that stands out, and you can keep all your accounts in one place. Now, let me walk you through exactly what you would need to open an account. So you would need your social security number. You're gonna need a driver's license or state ID, your bank account details, your employment information, and some other basic contact details. I'm gonna use a basic brokerage account as an example, but the process is similar for most account types. So step number 1 is you're gonna look for the open an account on the homepage. You're gonna simply click on it and then select what type of accounts that you want. You're gonna enter your personal information, and this is when those documents that we just talked about come into play. You're gonna double check everything, especially your social security number, and that your name matches your ID perfectly. Then you're gonna connect your funding source. So you're gonna link your bank account. It can be instantly with your login, or you can do it manually using your routing and account number. And don't worry, many platforms let you start with just $1. And then you're gonna set up your preferences. So you're going to choose electronic documents to save some trees, and you're going to add your beneficiaries, and you're going to activate 2-factor authentication for that extra security. And one thing to remember is that once your account gets approved, your money won't automatically invest itself. It's going to stay in cash until you choose your investments, which is what we're going to cover in our next video. And voila, congratulations, you're now one step closer to becoming an investor. Drop a comment below and let me know which account you're going to open first. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video in this series. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.